Welcome to today mixing and mastering class. So today we are going to be keeping everything professional and real. So in this tutorial we are going to be mixing and mastering this vocal, and also let's take a look at the before and after of the vocal. First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah. Now you dey in my mind, yeah. So many things where they run my mind, I no lie to you, but I can never deny you, my girl. I can never. First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah. Now you dey in my mind, yeah. So many things where they run my mind, I no lie to you, but I can never deny you, my girl. I can never deny you, my girl. Only you they give me love, I swear. Only you they ginger my body. I can never deny you, my girl. I can never deny you, my girl. Only you they give me love, I swear. Only you they ginger my body. So many things where they done. Here we are on the mixer. I believe you listened to the before and after of this mix. So right now, before we dive into the mixing, let's have some treat on our beat. So here is my beat track. So I loaded it into the track 5 and I put an EQ into it. So the reason why I have to put an EQ into my beat is because my beat is already mastered, and then I have to have some treatment on it to dog down some kind of stuff on it. So just listen to the beat alone and see. So I have to treat my beat and I have to take down the mid-range of it a little bit, of the little knack there. I really don't want on this vocal, so that's the reason why I just have to treat my beat, take down the low aspect of it a little bit. I never boosted anything here, I only just try to take off some things and not in it. So here we are. And then what I did next was you try to reduce the volume of a beat, compare it with your vocal. Let's have some kind of comparison and see. First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say. So I have some kind of comparison between those two. So you could see I decided to reduce the volume of the beat to match with the vocal because the beat was louder than the vocal. So that was what I did next. So let's start with the processing and mixing of our vocal. As you can see, I have a mixing track here which I send my vocal to, which is the track 3, as you can see, and I title it vocal box. So we are going to be adding plugins into it so that we could derive a quality and a good sound. So let's start mixing together. So one of the things we have to add to this, and you have to add to your vocal when you mix, it's your choice. If you prefer adding an auto tune to your vocal, it's your choice. If you feel like not adding an auto tune to your vocal, it's also your choice. So in this vocal we are going to be mixing, we are going to be adding an auto tune to it. So I would like everybody to add an auto tune because 95% of vocals comes with an auto tune, mixed with an auto tune. So makes everything easy for you. So you could start with an auto tune, but auto tune won't give you the perfect mixing that you want. It will only try to fix your vocal into the right key and help the singer stay on the right key. So as you can see, I find out the key to my vocal and then to my beat and my vocal, and everything is on E major. That's the scale. That's the key is E, and the scale is major. So after that, I have to add the return speed to my vocal. You can see the return speed. I took the return speed all the way to 0, and then humanize it a little bit so that it will not sound artificial. So that is all I did in my auto tune. I didn't touch more about the auto tune, and then I have to go into my input type and I set it into auto tenor. You could set yours to soprano, you could set it to low make, you could set it to instrumental, you could set it to bass institute, anyone you feel like fit into the kind of music that you are doing at that point in time. That's
what creativity means. So let's take a listen to it.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, that you did in my mind, yeah. So many things where they wrong.
So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do me good by subscribing to my channel, because it gives me more energy and more strength to bring more video to you, and then you won't regret subscribing to my channel, because I share amazing stuff here that is going to help you in your mixing career and in your mastering career also. So the next thing that we are going to be talking about right now, we are going to be talking about our fat filter project, which is our gate. That's the next thing you have to add into your vocal when you're mixing. So as you can see, we have a fat filter project. What fat filter project does is take away the low noise of it. I just added a little bit into it, as you can see. As you can see the threshold, I just added into like minus 50.81 dB of it, as you can see. So I turn it down this way and I added 51 of it to cut off the low end of it. So listen to it as I play.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, that you did in my mind.
So you can see I decided to take away the low aspect of it, the noise at the bottom of it. You might not listen to it, your interface might not be generating noise, but I'm just adding it to it because maybe anything at all, because I just want to try to take away the noisy part of it before I start adding plugin to it that will boost the sweetness of it. So if I don't take away the low aspect of it, the noisy part of it, the bottom of it, it might make my mix end up sounding very bad. So let's add an EQ to our vocal and see how we could manipulate our vocal with this EQ. So we are going to be using fat filter EQ3. So we are going to be using fat filter EQ. So what we are going to be doing with this EQ, when you add your EQ to your vocal, you don't do too much on it. So all the focus you have to have is that you have a good interface and a good microphone to try to enhance your vocal. So the reason why we add an EQ to a vocal is because we wanted to take away the low bass of it. So let me take this here like this. So as you can see, let me just take it for instance. This is how the EQ look when you load up an EQ. So let's play it and see.
First time in love, got it off my mind.
So as you can see, according to the pattern of the vocal I'm trying to mix, we needed some kind of basic part of this vocal. So what we are going to do here is that I am going to try to like take away some of the low form of it that is not going to be needed, that is going to be having some kind of basic fault in our speakers and also our headset. So what you do is that you silence it this way. You click here on here, so you just drag it, play it and drag it, and listen to what you are taking off. So we are going to be taking about like 51 off to, or 150 to 151 dB. We are going to be cutting down 151 dB out of it. So let's drag it there and see. So we are taking away 150.84 dB out of this mix. So as you can see, so after try to take away the basic part of the basic aspect of it, all we are going to be doing next is that you can see that I decided to dog down a little part of this here. So I just like take out, do some kind of copy sound here that is not needed. Let's take a listen to what I am trying to get rid of here. So that aspect is somehow needed, so I didn't take much of it down. I just take a little out of it. So in mixing you do little things. So let's take a look at what I did here. I decided to duck something down here. There is some kind of annoying sound I am having here I don't really want to listen to. So let's take it up and see what I decided to take off on this mix. So let's listen to it and see. So that sound is very annoying, so we are bringing it down this way, taking it down. Okay, I think -4 is okay here, -4 dB is okay here. So the same thing applies here also. There's some kind of annoying sound here, so I decided to duck it down to -3.5 dB here. As you can see, let's listen to it. So I decided to just take rid of all those things there. So that is all we do with the EQ here. You don't do much in your EQ. So let's add our compressor to our vocal right now. So we are going to be using compressor, fat filter compressor, that is fat filter C2 compressor from fat filter. So now here we have the fat filter compressor. So what I'm going to do in this fat filter compressor, what actually this fat filter compressor does is that it helps to keep your vocal squashed, and then it helps to keep your vocal compressed. So you can see, let's listen to how it sounds with the compressor first before I talk about the compressor.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, now you in my mind.
So you could see that the compressor is having a lot of effect on this song. So what the compressor does is that it decided to limit our vocals to sing on equal volume, try to boost those sides that are very low to sound equally, so that it will be balanced. No one will be sounding higher than the other. So what I did here after adding the compressor, I decided to set my threshold to -21.00 dB. As you can see here, that is what I added to it. So that's my threshold. So I decided to my ratio is 2.10, as you can see here. So after adding that, my attack, this is an Afro pop song, so I try to make my compressor to attack it a little bit, like 2.00 ms, as you can see, so that it could be able to attack it very well. So the release, I actually didn't add much release to it, just 9% of release to it, so that when the vocal comes in, the compressor will hold it in 200 ms and then release it in 9% only. So that is what I did there. So when you talk about it, I have a sidechain aspect here, so I have to just have the sidechain aspect here, just take away some kind of low part of it here in the sidechain. That is all I did in the compressor, and after the compressor, everything sounds this way.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, now you in my mind. Yeah.
So in talking about compressor, I never use only one compressor on vocals. I use 2 compressor. If possible, you can use 3 compressor if you feel like. So I use 2 compressor on my vocals just in case. So I use a compressor from FL Studio, the stock plugin in FL Studio. I love using this compressor a lot because I think I understand it also, but I think I prefer the Fab Filter compressor. But the FL Studio compressor is very nice, just that the other one has a visual look that you could actually know what you're doing. So what I did there was to just set my threshold to -19.7 dB. You could see the transformation that is happening in between here. So after that, my attack is 54.3 ms. You could see the attack I added there. You could see the attack I add here. So you could see the release here. Release here is much more, and then you could see my ratio here. My ratio is 2.0, as you can see. So I decided to, after adding all the stuff, I decided that I'm losing a lot of gain, like in my volume of my vocal is coming down, so I game it in 1.8 dB, and then I set this type into soft because I want my vocals to be very soft. So let's take a listen to it, how it feels.
First time in love, Got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you. Yeah, now you dey in my mind. Yeah, so many things where they run my mind. I no lie to you, but I can never deny you, my girl. I can never deny you, my girl. Only you they give me love, I swear. Only you they ginger my body. I can never deny you, my girl.
So please try and subscribe to my channel for more and an interesting video that could keep you going, that could keep your producing life very simple. And then I'll be giving out a template, and I'll be also be offering a free mastering class. Not actually free mastering class, but you could send your song to me for a free mastering, and I'll actually attend to you. So the next thing that we are going to be adding right now is on OTT. OTT is a free plugin that you could get. It's a free, and then you could use it. OTT is very nice, but I'm adding a little bit of OTT to my vocals. I do add a little bit of OTT to my vocals. I don't add too much, so I only add 7% of OTT to my vocals. So with the OTT, here is how it sounds.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you.
So what I did here was just to add 7% of OTT. I never touch any of that things here. I only touch here, and the 7% I only added to it. That is all about the OTT. So OTT just to brighten the vocal and just keep the vocal to sound very clean and okay. So I would like you to get an OTT. It helps also. I also get a radiator, so I can also use a radiator from Santoy as a replace for this also. So it's just anyhow you feel how you could do it, just creativity for you, and that's it. So we are going to be adding a little bit of saturation to our vocal, and then we are going to be using the saturation plugin from Fat Filter plugin again. So let's see how we can manipulate things using this saturation plugin from Fat Filter. So here we have a saturation plugin here. So what I actually does here, one thing I just try to target here is just to like set my this thing here. I go to the tube and I set it to 1 tube. After setting it to 1 tube, I go to my tuner here, my band here, and then I just drive it to 40%. You can see you can drive yours more than 40%. So after driving it to 40%, I came here, I just add a little bit of high to it, a present to it, to give it some kind of feelings and present. I just add just a 0.20 dB. It's not up to dB because I don't want to give some kind of too much high to my beat. So let's take a look, listen to what I'm trying to say before we could talk about that.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say.
So as you can see, you can see my vocal has some kind of present, and then it's already shining already, so I don't have to add much of this. So you don't add much of this. So when you add much of this, you discover that at the end of your plugins and everything you're adding is, you discover that your mix sound very high, and then everything sounds so scattered, not too clean and not too sweet. So that's it there. So when I came here, I just add a little of it, just 0.20. that is how I mix. I don't add too much to my mix. I just add little stuff to it. So try and learn how to be adding little things to your plugin, to your vocals. When you have the plugin, you don't just load up plugin, you just add little of it and see what you can gain out of it. So now I come to the mid-range also. I add just 0.09 dB to it. It's not even up to 1 dB. I just add a little of it to it to just give it the shine that I'm having right now. So when I come to the basic part of it, I didn't add anything to it. I just leave it untouched. So the main thing I did here was just to like tune the drive here to 40, and then have the warm aspect, change it to 1 tube. That's all I did, and let's take a listen to it on how it sounds.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, that you did in my mind, yeah.
So we are going to be adding an air to our vocal at this time around, and then we are going to be using an air plugin from Slate Digital. So let me load up the air plugin. Here you have an air plugin, and what does this air plugin does is that it gives some kind of presence to your vocals and allow your vocals to shine, and then makes it feel enjoyable and makes it feel good when you listen to it with your speakers and your headset. So let's take a look at what the fresh air does.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, that you did in my mind, yeah. So many things where they run my mind, I no lie to you, but
So in this tutorial you are going to be having some kind of crack. After adding some kind of plugin, you discover that we are already having some kind of crack on this thing already. That is actually not the song. You can export the song and it will sound very clean, but I'm using a Windows system which the CPU is not that strong. I might change it as soon as possible depending on how I'm being blessed with some kind of finance to change my system and then upgrade to maybe an Apple system to have a perfect and a very clean work for you guys. So for now, let's just take a look at what I did here. Now when I load up this fresh air from Slate Digital, I just have to like have some kind of tuning here to like 20. This is the high mid range. So I add some kind of a high mid range present into it in 20%. So I came here also added some kind of high to it also around that kind of 20% to make everything balanced. So altogether everything is 20-20. So I will tell you that fresh air makes a lot of difference to this vocal, a lot. So that is how it sounds with the fresh air. So without the fresh air, let's see how it sounds.
first time in love, got it off my mind.
So with the fresh air, let's see how it sounds. It did crap work.
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone.
And we are going to be taking, maybe I might not be playing the vocal for you anymore, but maybe at the end of the tutorial I believe you already had the vocal when it was mixed, when I played for you at the beginning of the tutorial. So the next thing that we are going to be adding right now is our DSR. So what I actually did with this DSR is not much. I just throw the DSR into it, then leave the setting that just like that. Then the threshold is just minus 36. So here we go with our DSR. So I just have to set the threshold to minus 36.00 dB to take out the sound in it. Some kind of sound in it that is very annoying, that might clash with our listener, and that might clash with our consumers, people that consume our music, so they feel comfortable and feel nice when they listen to it. That is what I did with the DSR. So what I added to my vocal next is a soft clip. This soft clip is from FL Studio series, FL Studio plugin. So what it does is that makes soften our vocals, bring out some kind of reduce the harshness in it. So that is the last plugin I added to my vocal to make it sound the way it sounds that you could hear. So now what we are going to be adding next, where we are going to be going next, is how we could get our delay. So now what we are going to do right now is that I have a delay channel here, which you can see. So I have to sidechain it to my vocal bus, as you can see right here. I believe you can see it. So I sidechain it to this channel right here. So after sidechaining my delay, here's the delay I use this delay from FL Studio delay 2. So I did a lot of delay. I did a lot of work in this delay. So I set it in, cut it into, just cut it a little bit here. You see. Then I set the time into 8 steps, as you can see. So after setting that into 8 steps, so I have to like right click here, you can see, then create an automation. After creating an automation, because I was trying to get a perfect delay on this song, so as you can see, it comes down here. So you could see a work of automation I did here. It was a very time taking work that I did here, so that my delay will only be active on where I want it to be active. So that is the work of the automation I did here. I wish I could play it for you so that you could listen to the response that occurs there, but because of my CPU I'm unable to do that. So after adding my delay to it, I never added anything to it anymore. I didn't even EQ it. I just leave it that way because I don't want to make it sound different anymore, and I like it that way. So basically I used two delay on this vocal. I used delay 2 from FL Studio and delay 3 from FL Studio also. So I have to create another channel for the second delay, so I added a delay. So all I did here was like turn down the dry aspect of it. So I didn't touch the wet, then set it to a pink pound, as you can see, and then I have to set this aspect to 1x 1/4, as you can see. So that's all I do. So after adding that delay, I add an EQ to it to just take away the low aspect of it a little bit and the high parts of it a little bit. As you can see, that is what I did there in delay. And so that is all about the aspect of the delay. So let's dive into the reverb aspect. So what I did on the reverb aspect here, as you can see, here's my reverb. I create another channel for my reverb. So guys, you try and be creating some kind of channel for it so that it give you access for you to control your reverb. You could see the way I reduce the volume of the reverb and the amount of the reverb I add to it. So using this reverb, I use a reverb from, I like using reverb from Valhalla Reverb, you know. So but in this tutorial I use a reverb from the FL Studio stock plugin. So let's make use of Valhalla Vintage Reverb. So I'm loading up Valhalla Vintage Reverb right now because I want to show you something. So Valhalla Vintage Reverb, so I just load up now the Valhalla Vintage Reverb. So guys, you don't just throw your reverb into your vocals just like that thinking it's going to perform a magic on it. So one of the things that you have to know when you're adding a reverb to it, so I want to select this smooth plate. So that's what I want to use for this vocal. So and I'm going to like try to do something about my reverb right now, because I am not just going to throw my reverb into it. So I'm going to leave the mix intact. So how to get your pre-delay for all your vocals, guys? You don't throw your vocals into it just like that. So what I'm going to do, how to calculate my reverb before adding it. So I am going to get my calculator. I'm going to calculate on 60,000, as you can see, 60,000 divide by the BPM of my song. So take a look at it at the upper part of it. My BPM of my song is 102 divide again by the how did I used to call it, divide by the bar of my song. For this song I'm using 8 bars, so divide by the 8 bars, so it's giving me 73.552. so I'm going to edit it to 73.52. so that is it. 73, no, let me clean it up. I have a little bit of mistake there. Let me do it again. Let's do it again. Let's take it again. Let me just clean it up. Okay, 73.50 too. So that was the pre-delay of my vocal. So that's how you calculate your pre-delay before you add your reverb to your vocal. So that is it, guys, and that is everything about this mix. So I'm going to be playing the mix for you to listen to before and to listen to the outcome of it and what we derive after this mix. So I'll see you in the mastering aspect of it in my next tutorial. So give a comment to this video if you love it. And
First time in love, got it off my mind. All my friends they tell me say loving is gone, but I no lie to you, yeah, like you did in my mind, yeah. So many things where they run my mind, I no lie to you, but I can never deny you, my girl. I can never deny you, my girl. Only you they give me love, I swear. Only you they ginger my body. I can never deny you, my girl. I can never deny you, my girl. Only you they give me love, I swear. Only you they ginger my body. So many